Singapore experienced one of its hottest years in 2024, with temperatures hitting an average of 28.4 degrees Celsius. That's according to the Met Services. That is 0.6 above the 30-year long-term average, and the joint warmest year on record, along with 2016 and 2019. Last year's warmest month was in April, with average temperatures at 1.2 degrees Celsius above the long-term average. It also tied with 2016 as the warmest April on record. And as the heat persisted, July saw a dry spell that lasted over 2 weeks. It was also the warmest July on record, with a mean temperature of 29.3 degrees Celsius. Along the heat, it was a wetter year as well. Total rainfall averaged over 2,700 millimeters. That is around 8% higher than the long-term average. Rainier days helped to lower temperatures at the start of the year, January being the wettest as well as coolest month. Met Services says the El Niño weather phenomenon is one reason for warmer and wetter days.
If we do nothing to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, then globally our temperatures are supposed to rise some 5 degrees centigrade. But Singapore warms faster than the global average. And that is because of the urban heat island effect, where we've removed vegetation and replaced it by concrete. And that means instead of a 5 degrees C temperature, it'll be greater than that.
The rising heat in Singapore is a reflection of what is happening globally. Scientists warn that the world has crossed a critical threshold for climate change. The European Copernicus Climate Service says planet Earth has just experienced the first full year in which global temperatures warmed more than 1.5 degrees Celsius from the pre-industrial period. Even though this does not mean a permanent breach of the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold agreed at a UN summit in 2015, scientists say the effects of climate change are now visible on every continent, from wildfires in California to torrential floods in Nepal and intense heat waves in Saudi Arabia. They stress it's still possible to bring the average temperature below that limit if countries act now to slash their greenhouse gas emissions. But the political will to invest in fighting climate change is lacking in some countries. Incoming U.S. President-elect, that's of course Donald Trump, for instance, has called climate change a hoax.
And it's just so sad that despite all the warnings that scientists have given, that nations across the earth, many of which are based in rich countries, are continuing to fail to live up to their responsibilities.